I'm Judy Shaw for NYSC Floor Talk. Joining me today is Rich Kleiman. He is the co-founder of 35 Ventures. Rich co-founded 35 Ventures with his business partner, Kevin Durant. Rich, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Appreciate it.
Now, Rich, Kevin, he was diagnosed with COVID-19 last month. How's he doing?
He is fortunate. He's doing really well. He was diagnosed fairly early in kind of the process here in America. So it was really scary at the time, but he never had symptoms, and the full 14 days went, and, he's clear now, and he's been out of isolation, but in quarantine for quite some time. So appreciate you asking.
Of course. Well, that's good news to hear.
Yeah.
Now, talking about COVID-19, it's had a dramatic impact on the world of sports. We had season suspensions. We had the NFL draft done virtually. And also there's talk of fanless games. What's your perspective on how this has changed the world of sports?
Well, it's obviously changed it. And the reality is that it will be fanless for quite some time. But I think what the leagues are going to do and what they have to do is kind of take this as an opportunity to figure out how to better the game, how to better the at-home experience, how to better the in-arena experience for when fans do return. So whether that's implementing different AR and VR technologies, different broadcasts, different camera angles, different access points, I think all of that will have to be on the table because, this is an opportunity to kind of re-examine how it's been delivered to us for so long and use a unfortunate time as a blessing and maybe trying to evolve the game in some ways across the board.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. No, definitely agree with you there. So there's going to be a lot of changes that we're going to see coming out of this that are actually going to stick for a while or forever.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, I think societal changes on top of just the rules, that takes even longer. So when people are comfortable again, to even enter into a stadium, I think could be quite some time.
Okay, now let's talk about your business. You have the Boardroom, which is a major part of your content arm. How are you keeping your audience engaged?
Well, listen, technology, just like this interview, we're fortunate that we have the platforms to be able to continue to create. And I think that we all knew right away as creators that people would be consumed with content more than ever, would be on their phones more than ever. And without live sports and us being in the sports world, having an opportunity to kind of produce and introduce conversations that people may not have a chance to be able to hear, an audience that maybe wasn't aware of the Boardroom, and introduce them to it for distraction, for information, for entertainment. So we've been creating quite constantly. And then we also had a few of our documentary projects that were slated to come out around this time. So we had one released last week or last month, and then one on May 15th on Showtime. So, those documentaries have been able to be edited and fixed because none of that involves having to be in person or shooting or anything. And it's just more about editing and kind of curating content.
Mm-hmm. Actually, tell me about those documentaries. You have two of them, one with Stephen Marbury and one with Kevin.
Yeah, well, the one on Stephon Marbury is out now. It's on Amazon and Apple. And Stephon Marbury was a New York City legend growing up. He played at Lincoln High School, then he went and played at Georgia Tech, and then had an NBA career that saw him at a really high point, succeeding, and then also had a really low fall. And I think just right there was an incredible story. But he ended up going to China and becoming this cult figure and this icon, and won championships and had museums named and made after him. And and his whole life story was really something that as a New Yorker, I wanted to be a part of. And then Kevin, as a fan of the game and loving hoop, just wanted to be a part of. So being able to kind of add what we could add to that process once they had cut the movie together was like an opportunity that was too good to be true as a native New Yorker. And then the documentary next month on Showtime is on Kevin. It's on his, it's not solely on Kevin, it's on PG County, and it's where Kevin grew up. And there's just been a tremendous amount of basketball players or talent in general that's come out of the county in the last 20 years, men and women. And it's kind of this this showing of the history of how it may have evolved to this, but also kind of putting your hands up and saying that it all could just be in the water, because it's really just been a crazy amount of people that have come from the county. And so the name of the doc is Basketball County in the Water, and it's May 15th on Showtime.
Great. Okay. And finally, Rich, What's been the impact on your portfolio companies during this time?
It's a good question. I'm as an investor, no matter what check size we write, I try to be as strategic and proactive as possible. Don't want to get in their way, but I felt like a lot of our companies would have messages that they'd want to get out now, and that we had an audience and a platform to help them get it out. Whether it's what they were doing with their products or what they were doing philanthropically. For us, it was just touching base with them on that. And then two, just seeing where a lot of them are at just in their health overall and their balance sheet. And some obviously are struggling and having to pivot and adjust. Some are continuing to raise, some that have platforms that are almost pandemic proof, to use a poor term probably, have been able to, continue to succeed in this climate. And, we just want to make sure that we're there to help them in the way we can. We haven't done as much actively on the investing front. Deal flow has slowed quite a bit, but really just trying to help them in this process the same way, we're looking to help ourselves and grow our business. We want to be that kind of investor to these guys as well.
Wonderful. Well, Rich, thank you so much for joining me on NYSE Floor Talk.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Appreciate it.